Already changed their thought process and they have aligned to the Western ideology to a great extent. But Iranians are totally polar opposite and they have never changed their views for the last about 45, 50 years. They remain where they remain. So to believe that it's going to just crumble, IRGC is not just not a slap dog onto a street that they can wish away. They will fight, they will control, and this will go on for some time. But I just want to add both the countries, the Israelis and Americans. And a lot of time people are saying that Trump has put Israel first this time. I don't think so. I think it's a war of Americans with Iran, and it is something to do with the Chinese. It is just not about Iran itself.
Yes,
So
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, so I think I told last time also on your this thing on your channel, but American immediate political objective is to change the strategic orientation of Iran. They should give up the ballistic missile systems, and because that was threat not only to America but more importantly to Gulf states eventually. So if you recall, while Saudi Crown Prince has said about a month back they will not allow their own airspace and ground to be attacked for Iran. But the fact of the matter is that he was the one who went urging, and Trump has said as much, that he came to me and telling this is going to be eventually a challenge. Because when the ballistic missile numbers, which in 2027 they were aiming to make to 8,000, that crosses, and the speed of missile crosses, there was no way Saudis could have protected themselves. So that is one, I think they want to change. The second, they want to change orientation was about the nuclear ambition with 440 kgs of uranium lying with them for 60% enriched. It was just a matter of time, I think, in a couple of months. Right? The process of integrating, process of weaponizing further takes time, but they would have had the capability to use nuclear weapons. So this was, I think, the Americans wanted. But you know, look at it from the Iranian side. Iran is a sovereign nation. They wanted to have a weapon, nuclear weapons. When Pakistan, which is a terror state, known terror state, can have nuclear weapons and Americans can continue to engage with them, Israel can have in the region, why should not Iran have its own? So I think these were two polarized actions that are taking place, and both have their own mission, and therefore they are both legitimate to fight the war, even at the cost of regional conflict with a global implication. I guess that's how the world works. Not a good world, but yes.
Yeah, and even when it comes to Iran's nuclear ambitions, we've seen a lot of ups and downs, and that's where the United States began playing a key role and almost now dictating to Iran on what it must do next. Hold on, gentlemen, I'll come back to you in just a bit. I want to quickly go across to Shivani. She's being joined by Tom. We need to break down the story, take you through the latest visuals coming in, and also an overview, an analysis of what the impact of this conflict could look like. Shivani, over to you.
Thanks a lot. We're focusing on that F-15 downing that has taken place in Kuwaiti airspace. And these are the visuals of at least one of those American pilots. He's sitting in the boot of a car, lying down. And we can easily identify, Tom, that this is the American uniform and the American element.
By his khaki uniform, for example, and G-suit and the survival gear tied to his belly, for example. This is clearly a U.S. Air Force airman.
But there would be two pilots, isn't it?
Yes, in an F-15E, there would be two of them. I haven't seen the video showing the boat of parachutes, so I don't know what happened to the second jet.
You can hold this mic as well, Tom,
Yes.
since I have my own. So the other pilot's whereabouts, we don't know.
We
We've
don't know.
only
Right
managed
now-
to really get information on one of the pilots. So one of the pilots is secure, and these must be the Kuwaiti people who must have intercepted
Yes.
this downed pilot, but they're going to take him to the US base now.
Probably to the US base or to the Kuwaiti police, Kuwaiti armed forces, and then to the US base.
Yeah. How rare is it for an F-15 to be downed?
Quite rare. It is actually...
Has it happened?
It has happened. I'm currently counting in my head. It's some fourth or fifth loss, combat loss in total.
Okay.
Over 30
so it's
years.
Pretty rare. So it's pretty
Since 1991, yes. Pretty rare, yes.
This is that footage.
This
What
is a
can you
F-15.
make- What can you make of this footage?
Well, you can make that it's an F-15 by two fins. You can make it by the form of its plan form of its wing. You can make it out by, if you look under the intakes, there are pods. These are targeting pods, navigation and targeting pods. Which this is what you see then the video of bombs striking. This is usually taken by this pod under the aircraft, and you can see that the engines are burning.
What does that mean?
That probably the explosion was behind the aircraft, approximately here, causing damage to the engines. Probably removing one of the slabs. This is stabilizers, because the right one is visible, the left one not. So this is why it lost control.
Yeah.
And then it fell into flat spin. The crew ejected, and the rest you can
So
see.
explain to me, what kind of capabilities do you need to down an F-15?
Well, you need quite advanced, at least medium range in this case, probably medium range Iranian surface-to-air missile, for example, and it needs to have quite a hefty warhead, some 25-30 kilogram, because shooting down an F-15 is not entirely easy, because it has such sophisticated controls that it can fly without specific parts of the airframe.
So tell me a little bit, Tom, who could have done this? Could this have happened from Iranian airspace or territory, or could it have happened from Kuwaiti territory itself? Who could be behind this, and how? From where could it have happened?
There are two options. One is that this aircraft was probably involved in intercepting incoming Iranian UAVs, and then Kuwait shot them down.
Would the Kuwait do that?
It could happen. It could happen. Why? Because both the surface-to-air missiles and the aircraft have to have identification friend or foe equipment which is synchronized. If it's not synchronized, the Kuwaitis are not going to recognize him as friendly and shoot at him.
So it could be a friendly mistaken fire, or
Exactly.
the second option is?
The second option is that the Iranians suddenly brought in one of their mobile SAM systems, and while the jet was busy with intercepting UAVs, they shot one of the SAMs at it and shot it down.
Can I ask you one question? I'm not of the military expert, of course, but he is a world's renowned. And as some of our viewers would want to know, why would you engage an F-15 to intercept UAVs?
Because of these pods. They can guide especially modified, usually unguided rockets, relatively thin rockets. This is the cheapest form of shooting down UAVs.
Okay. Very expensive machinery being
Oh,
employed,
yes.
but you were
Oh,
saying
yes.
this is still the cheapest.
This is the cheapest form, yes, because the Zuni rocket, caliber 127 millimeter or less, is actually unguided. But lately, because of the increased UAV threat, they have been modified with laser guidance. But you need for these the pods, which the F-15 is carrying, in order to designate the target, so that the rocket flies into the target.
Okay, all right. Tom Cooper will continue to be with us, stay with us for his insights, as we're witnessing now even an F-15 going down. At least one of the pilots is safe. We don't know the whereabouts of the second one, so we'll get you those updates as well. Back to you.
All right, we're getting in more breaking inputs. In fact, the IDF is now beginning to strike afresh. These are additional targets of the terror organization Hezbollah in Lebanon. In fact, this is the footage that's been released by the IDF, pinpointing that target over here as it strikes at the heart of Hezbollah in Lebanon. Among the targets that were struck were weapon storage facilities, even additional infrastructure of the terror organization Hezbollah in several areas in Lebanon. So Hamas, as we all know, has been decimated to a great extent, but it is the Hezbollah which is back on the radar of the IDF, and this is the latest shots that we are bringing to you that the IDF has released from Lebanon. They are continuing to strike Hezbollah. They are also, in fact, targeting the overall, say, weapon storage facilities, even additional infrastructure of this terrorist organization. Sanjay Suri is joining me live on the broadcast with more details. So, Sanjay, you can see the escalatory nature of these attacks that are taking place. But at the moment, the IDF is very set with its targets. These are fresh visuals that have been released. What else can you tell us about the IDF now taking these attacks forward as far as Hezbollah is concerned? Before I see you are joined in by a guest also, and you take that conversation forward.
Well, the IDF certainly is striking Hezbollah. This war appears to be widening, and certainly here in Israel, you are feeling the impact of it. We are here in Beit Shemesh, and this here behind me was a synagogue. Would you believe it? There's no sign of it anymore. Complete devastation, a direct hit by a missile. People sought shelter below the synagogue in a dedicated shelter, and they were all killed. And with me is Ben, who has lived long here. He lives right next door to this. So Ben, were you here when the missile struck?
Yes, I was at my house. I was sleeping. It was around 2:30 p.m. And I wake up by horrific noise, horrific boom, like the most significant shock wave of boom that I heard in my life.
Were you safe?
I wasn't in the safe area because I was in my bed, and the windows they are just like above me because the pillow is in the side of the window, and one window shattered. And I'm lucky that the other one didn't. So in instinctive mood, I took the blanket, the thick blanket, and covered my face. So the glasses, the remains of the glasses won't fly away over my face. And,
take a look behind. Tell us behind what is here, what was here. If you speak with me and just tell us what was here.
Here was a synagogue that I remember as a child. It used to be like small synagogue, and after renovation, it became a really big one and impressive one. And as you can see, nothing remains, just debris. It looks like a war zone, like just nothing. You cannot recognize that was anything here. Just tons of rubbish and plastic, and you can see the crane over there where was the shelter that the people are hiding.
And the people who took shelter here, they of course live here. What kind of work do they do? I mean, do they work for the government, or are they just local civilian people?
No, Beit Shemesh it's a city of normal people, regular people, you know, white collars, blue collars people, day-to-day job, or some of them like do most of their day in praying, in study the Torah, study the Talmud. And I personally know one casualty of the incident that was happening yesterday. A young guy named Gabriel Reva. He's 16 years old. He's really close by, living really close by to my house. He's my neighbor. I know him since he was a baby. And he went here at the afternoon just for a study with the rabbi.
Synagogue? Because there's a synagogue?
Sometimes in the synagogue you don't necessarily go for the time of the prayer. You go to enrich yourself by studying, by reading Talmud, by reading the Bible, and that's what they've done. And going and do a lesson with the rabbi and a bunch of students. And unfortunately, this is where he's lost his life at such a young age. He didn't
This is
turn
tragic,
up.
and this is a small area, so everyone would know everyone. It's like a large extended family, is it?
Yes, yes. This neighborhood is people live here from the 60s. The first one came to this area. It used to be a neighborhood of really small houses, and over the years, people brought more and more children. They renovated the houses. The houses went bigger. For example, this house I know very well. This house over there, because this house belonged to my uncle.
Ya Allah! 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 Ya Allah!
Augusto.